hi, who am I? So I've been with Lloyds for 16 years, and actually everything here is about me, not about Lloyds' views. So if I say anything inappropriate, it's not. And that's one of the things about working for a big bank, is that you have to strip down all your templates and can't share the logos, it's not approved, but hey. And I don't think I ever meant to work in a bank. I left working for Compaq, a small IT company, well, small-ish, to go set up the intelligent finance. So 16 years ago, there was a web bank created, it's amazing, 16 years ago, and in a year, and it was really exciting. And then the big organisation sucks you in, and then, you're, all of a sudden you're just, I suppose, absorbed in it, and there is a culture, and it is exciting to work in a huge organisation, but I suppose a couple of years ago I thought, what am I doing? How did I end up here? And this doesn't feel exciting. This doesn't feel like what, when you look back on your career and your life you want to do. And I suppose then I started, you think if I don't do anything different, it won't change, so you have to start reaching out and looking for opportunities, and that's actually quite hard. I don't know if it's just me, but I find that really quite hard. But I think when you start realising that you want to do something different, you realise there's lots of other people, and even in an organisation the size of Lloyds, which has got about 90,000 people, you find like-minded people, and it's amazing what that culture and that energy and just being open to things can bring with it. And I suppose that's why I'm here, because I don't want it to stop my bank. I'm interested in hearing about lots of other people and lots of other things and helping people, because I think this culture can be contagious. It's like a positive culture, it spreads really fast, and also it can put out some of those worry fires of the pessimists quite well. So why did we do Scrum is what I want to talk. What is Scrum? Because it was like, what is it? Why did we use it? Some challenges and benefits, and I suppose a bit of a legacy that I feel that I owe people, being one of the first Scrums in Lloyds, that I owe to lots of other people. So why did we do Scrum? So picture, whatever, but what is Scrum? What is it all about? So we needed to transform part of our business. The quote came in at silly millions. We didn't have silly millions, so we thought, how do we do this differently? And at that point, a new guy had joined our company and was looking for opportunities to try something different. So it was right place, right time, which a lot of the time it is. And we reached out and said, okay, I'm up for this. I went from being oh wait a minute, I don't think we can do this, to within about 10 minutes just flipping completely and going, let's do this and let's give it a try. And from that day, 55 days later, we had implemented our first sprint. So it's just crazy speed that it goes at, and I'll come on to that in the challenges. But I think the key about Scrum is it's not rocket science. It's about actually the right people coming together and doing change. So that's not that rocket science. It's having a product owner, and actually we've got a product owner in the room today. He's right at the back, hiding. So a product owner who passionately knows what the business needs to change and almost will champion that. You've got a Scrum Master who will coordinate everything and almost make sure that everything's coming together. And you've got a development team who are going to develop the thing that is needed. And it's about doing it there and then, and I was quite interested about the product owner who's here, that he's actually here and the rest of the team are in America, because how we did it is we co-located, which for a bank that's spread across the whole of the UK, that was quite a tough challenge, asking people to go to Birmingham first, and then we had the second one up in Edinburgh. So, but co-location, just so that, and we've got an offshore development team, and they were actually videoed in, so we were all working together. Well, I say all, the project managers aren't allowed in the room, so there's a strict, don't come in here with all your rules and governance and plans and money concerns, stay out. We'll give you an option once a month or once a week in our case to have your say and for us to tell you what it's about. So it's about, and I think that's what that first point is saying, it's about individuals and interactions over process and tools. It's about a product owner saying, there's this thing, and the developer going, do you mean this? And then going, no, and then them trying again, and really trying to bring it to life, which if you think of an old-fashioned kind of waterfall project style, somebody thinks they know what they want, it then turns into 1,000 requirements, which then a developer gets and builds, and at the end you go back to the client and say, is that what you meant? And they're like, no, but you've spent £10 million and it's actually just not right. And actually, probably it's a year down the line and it's out of date now. So it's about really the individuals and interactions. It's about working software over documentation, so not spending months and months getting a document. Why not just spend a few hours getting a prototype together? It's about customer collaboration over contract negotiation. It's not about, well, you do this for me and I'll do this for you. It's just, let's just work together. And I think that's what, if anybody's ever going to work in a Scrum, don't think there's lots of books, and I've got some books if you want to read them if you're a bookie type, but don't worry about the books, just be a human being and work together to build something. When responding to change over following a plan, yeah. So we talk in language things like product vision, so what does he want to achieve, and yeah, all language, and building a backlog, so you don't build requirements, you build a whole big list of things you'd like to do, and these all get sort of sized estimates, and then you decide how many of these things you can build depending on how much money you've got. So your backlog will all be, imagine it like a big list of things you'd like to do, and each of them with a kind of price next to them, and you decide, well, we'll do the first 60, and the product owner will obviously help prioritise which ones you do first. And features are just the little tiny, what you might call a requirement. So, but there's lots of people involved in this. So, and when we talk about Scrum, some of the people who we forget about are the people outside the Scrum, because the people inside the Scrum will build this beautiful, perfect thing. But there's probably about, well in my case, thousands of people outside of that Scrum who need to use that. So you need to have a team, almost imagine it like a marathon, a support team running alongside the Scrum going, right, here's some water, here's this. Because we have to take that and implement it. And that's the hardest thing, because you can build something really quickly now, but can you implement it quickly? Because you've got thousands of people to train, or you've got stakeholders to make aware, or you've got customers you have to write to. So it's about, I suppose, how you do all that. And so the team in the Scrum and the team out of the Scrum are key. They will have to work in partnership. So you start a Scrum with Sprint 0, and that's where you come up with all your ideas, you prioritise it, and then you decide how many you're going to build. So I've delivered now 3 Scrums. The first one had 3 sprints, the second one had 2, and the one we've got just now has only got 1. But the thing about this is that when we get to the end of so in the first one I ran, that had 3 sprints, so 3 chunks of deliverables, we kept seeing more and more, and so we could convince people, can we do more and more, and can we get more money? The second one we couldn't see more and more things to do, so we had to stop. And that's the thing, we stopped after it started in September and it finished in January. So we stopped really quickly. I mean, that kind of speed to start and stop is one of the advantages of Scrum as well. So I'm trying to think if there's some other things in here. So we've talked about the product owner and backlogs and planning, and there's a little YouTube video, I'll give you the link at the end and we can maybe put it out afterwards, that kind of summarises what it's all about. But I think what I wanted to talk more about is what were some of the challenges and some of the benefits, because that's almost how it works. So I'm just going to talk about this. So funding's very hard to get. So because you've not started, so how do you know what you're going to do and how much money you're going to need? So that was quite hard to change the culture of talking to the people who have the money, to say, we don't know what we want to do, we know there's roughly something there, so can we get some money? And actually, as one of the first Scrums, that was really hard. We had to give our costs on a weekly basis, which the bureaucracy involved in that is just horrendous. So lots to do and lots of people to convince. Trying to build a business case that says this is what we want to do, is just unbelievable in the cost tracking. Governance, you can imagine, I don't know what it's like in your organisation, but in mine this is the project life cycle, this is what you do, and you move through this. But we were basically saying, well, we can't do any of that, or we can do this, this and this, there's no point doing that, and people getting worried, about how that is. So I think the speed, the governance, changing people's locations and culture, it took strong leadership, and that was from people like myself in a program manager role, basically giving that Scrum team the space to go ahead and build what you want to. And I would deal with all the people saying, what are you wasting money on? What's all this about? So it's about convincing people and building advocacy. So I think that was some of the challenges. Some of the benefits though, how I like to think about it, someone must have told me this, is imagine that you wanted the Mona Lisa painted for you, and the guy at the start says, I want a picture of a woman, and that's usually what you start a project with. And imagine if for 2 years or however long it took to paint that, and then the guy says, actually no, it was like somebody with blonde hair, and actually I wanted more trees in the background. It's too late to wait then. What Scrum, if I could describe it in any way, is each sprint draws a sketch and then builds upon that sketch, so that you've got a chance to rub out a line or change it and change perspectives. It's about doing things iteratively and as you go along, and showing people all along what you're doing. And so the benefits of that is there's no surprises. People see things quickly as well. You don't have to wait 2 years for things. So the speed and the sort of stakeholder buy-in is a big benefit. And I found that everybody involved in it was so engaged because it was a bit different, because it was more involved, and there was lots more energy. And I think that's probably spoke too much now, but I think that's one of the things that I feel obliged to do now, because having done 3 Scrums in the bank, is I now speak to everybody about it, because we're now doing it lots, and everybody has that moment of fear, and some people that lasts for 10 minutes, some people it lasts for 10 days. There's some people I'm working with just now that's lasted 6 months, and they're still going, I don't like this, and it's quite. But that's what change is about, and I think if we don't do things differently, it never will change. If we don't go out there and have the message, then it won't change. And I'm now going on to a big regulatory programme, and of course, I don't want to do that differently. It's about just finding those little glimmers of light and those people who you can work with, educate people. One of the other things we did on our 3 Scrums is we rotated people. So we took people in and out and buddied people up so that more and more people learn, because the more people who know, the less fear. And I think that's what it is about change, isn't it? Especially in big organisations. Change for me took, 2 years ago I thought I wanted to do something different. It took till quite recent for me, an individual. 90,000 people to go on that change is quite a big thing as well, but it's contagious and it's positive. And it's all about sharing. And I think that that's the benefit that that's why I'm here. I think today is because if we all just stay in our little silos doing the things the way we've done it, things don't move on, we don't evolve, and actually it all becomes very dull. So I think if you're going to be in a job that you, I suppose, feel passionate about, it's about doing it a little bit different. And I'm hoping that I'll come to more of these workshops and learn about other people's passions, and I would say that I'm here to help if anybody needs. So I'm on LinkedIn, and you can see my profile and reach out to me if you're starting on this journey, because it is all about sharing and helping. Okay. So I've got some books there and a little YouTube one for people who don't like books. That's me. I've one of these Phoenix projects written like a novel, so if you prefer reading books, but we can send that out afterwards if you want.
Thank you.